Hey everybody, welcome back to a non-confrontational installment of Backlog Banter where we're going to talk peacefully and amicably about the rest of Nintendo's 2020. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today there was a Nintendo Treehouse Live presentation.
Mm-hmm.
I watched 40% of it across two streams playing at different intervals. Tucker played Mario's Picross and then proceeded to sing along to the Persona 5 Royal theme song and not watch the presentation.
Yep.
But here's what I want you to recognize, ladies and gentlemen. That's not the focus of today's discussion. That just happened to be the impetus for us sitting down and talking with you today about the rest of Nintendo's 2020 slate as we know it right now. Will there be a Metroid game in December? If there is, I'll be the end of the Backlog Banter because I'll fucking explode. My giblets will fly across the entire screen.
Oh God.
But the fact of the matter is, for me as a gamer, as a player, I'm not big on watching gameplay pre-release, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I know off of a trailer or two if I'm hyped for a game or not.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I really love experiencing games fresh. So I have seen a little bit. The part of the Treehouse I did watch was the Pikmin 3 Deluxe part because I was hunting and pecking for those details of what's new in Deluxe. And while there was some cool stuff in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity that I saw, by and large, because I am excited for that game, as we're going to talk about, I wanted to wait and see these things for myself fresh.
Sure.
I don't know how you feel about that. Do you want to fucking clarify your stance, Mr. Hazel, before we get deeper into the discussion?
Well, sure. Yeah. Give me a chance to at least say something. But I did not watch the Treehouse, as he said. I've seen Pikmin 3 gameplay. I know what Pikmin looks like. It doesn't not going to blow my mind. I'm going to hear the details on Twitter afterward. So I didn't really feel any reason to watch the Treehouse gameplay live. I watched the Hyrule Warriors gameplay from TGS last week, and so that's enough gameplay for me. I know I'm going to be purchasing that game, and I'm interested in it anyway. Again, details will come out on Twitter afterward, and I'll be able to learn. And now we know a little bit more, but and I'll be able to know what was announced without having to have watched the entire thing and be able to experience the entire thing myself. The third thing that I don't think you mentioned is the Mario Kart Live home tour 5-minute explanation video, whatever they
Overview
put
trailer.
out. Yes, put out a couple days ago. You made me watch that right before we record this. And I guess that's kind of a gameplay video. It was more edited. It's not live gameplay.
Informational.
Clearly. Well, it is live gameplay, Mario Kart live gameplay. But that was not the kind of thing I would usually watch. But that's also not the kind of game I would usually be paying attention to at all. So it really depends for me when it comes to my pre-release interaction with a game about how much I'm excited for a game.
Sure.
Because something like a Super Mario Odyssey or a Smash Brothers or a Pokemon that I'm waiting for every detail for. I want to see new Smash stages. I want to see how they change the movesets. I want to see new Pokemon, new areas or towns in Pokemon, whatever. There's definitely different levels of hype for things that some games I'd rather go into blind. Like I haven't seen almost anything for Cyberpunk 2077, but I'm so excited for that game. But when it came to Pokemon, I was waiting around every corner and every scrap of gameplay I could because I was just interested about that.
Sure.
But yeah.
I think that makes sense. I just think that's important context for folks going into what we're doing next, which is the crux of the video. And we're going to do something that I don't know how to do in real life. I don't know how to take pulse. I don't really know where the pulse is in the human hand. I don't know how to feel it if I had one. I don't think it's there. I don't think it's there at all. That I tried doing that, didn't work. I'm just waiting on my fucking Wii Vitality sensor to come in the mail so it can take my pulse for me. But the fact is, we're gonna take our pulse on some upcoming Nintendo games. There's really 3 we're focusing on because there's really 3 left for the rest of the year. Mario Kart Live Home Tour, fucking Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and The Legend of Zelda Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity.
Yeah.
So, Tucker, let's just go in chronological order, if you will.
Okay.
And I want to talk first a little bit about this fucking Mario Kart game that came out of nowhere. So we've gotten some details. We know what it is and precisely what it isn't. And
how it works.
And I'm a little bit perplexed by this game.
Yeah.
Because my biggest thing that I wanted to know when it first got revealed back in September was, what is this game really? Because it's a really interesting concept. As someone who really enjoyed the AR support on 3DS, I know that Nintendo's got some chops there. Keep in mind, this is not being developed by Nintendo. This is an externally developed product.
Sure.
But there's some precedent there for there being some good Nintendo AR content. Putting Mario Kart in AR seems really clever. Having seen it, I think it looks engaging, but I'm not sold on the depth of content that's there.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing that is the biggest turnoff for me. I was actually less interested once I saw the explanation trailer than I was before, because I mean, original reveal trailer was pretty short. It was kind of confusing. We didn't really know what was going on, but just the concept of having a game that interacts with the live cars and is, it's just a fun gimmicky thing. It didn't seem like it was gonna be anything of substance, and that was pretty much confirmed by the explanation trailer. And watching through it, I realized that I already knew this wasn't for me, but now I know this is really isn't for me, because
Yeah.
I personally feel like, while there will be people who get enjoyment out of this a couple times, this is not going to be anything substantial in almost any market. It's really marketed towards kids who want to take it out on a Saturday afternoon in the summer every once in a while and then leave it in a box and forget about it. But those products sell. Those have existed forever.
Yeah.
So
I think you're deeply underestimating how big of a hit this will be in the holidays. I really think this will be huge with families and kids.
Mhm.
I would buy it if it was not so expensive, because I
Yeah.
think this would be really fun to play with my sister back home, and then be really fun to play with my girlfriend because she loves Mario Kart too. But however, another big drawback for me is that there's only Mario and Luigi. If
Yeah.
there was a
Mhm.
Toad, my girlfriend plays Toad all the time. It's a Mario Kart character. I'd love to
Okay.
pick up a Toad. I'd love if there was a 2-pack, you could buy them
Yeah.
bundled together. But at $100 per cart, I just think it's a little bit too much for me to swing.
Yeah.
So while I do like the concept and I think it's going to do very well, and I like that there's more to it with the Grand Prix than just, okay, design your track and race around it. It seems like there is a serviceable amount of content there.
Hmm.
Um, but it's not hitting the notes that I needed it to. And frankly, a big one of those is price. If I
Yeah.
could get 2 carts for $100, then I think it would actually be a no-brainer for me.
Yeah.
But at $200 to get 2 people in there, that's tough.
Yeah.
Um, I'm hoping this follows the Labo. I hope it doesn't follow Labo trajectory. I hope it sees more success in Labo, but I hope it follows Labo's pricing structure, where it takes a dive after a couple months, so I can pick it up at a more reasonable cost.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm certainly taking a wait and see approach. If fucking reviews come out and they're like, whoa, this is something you need to be in the ground floor on, then maybe. But right now I'm reserving my money for other things, reserving my mind share for other things Nintendo has this fall.
Yeah. And for me, when I was watching that trailer and I was realizing what this game really is and and as you said, what it isn't, a lot of it comes down to me is that it's a cool idea, but I don't see much value on it personally, because the concept of having it race around your house, cool, but you're not going to be looking at it. You're going to be looking at your screen because so much of the game is on your Switch. It is the things you can't see in the real world, the items and the enemies and the somewhat level hazards interacting with you, that does then affect the cart in real life. And so it kind of seems to juxtapose itself. It's a cool concept to have it racing, but you're not going to be looking at that. But then that, because it's interacting with the real life elements, it can't be as deep of a Mario Kart game. They were bragging about these things in the trailer, like, oh, you can use bananas and shells. That's not something you should be bragging about. That was in Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo, as I said earlier. And the things that they have is that you can draw the track with however you want, which is cool. But then you just sort of overlay skins onto that. That's what the Grand Prix is. Each track is essentially just a different visual style and some level hazards. But I don't know. It just seems to kind of defeat its own purpose in my eyes.
I think it's important to remember that you're a haggard old man.
Well, of course.
And I think that that's definitely right from our perspective, because for me to get in, I'd need a more substantial game.
Mhm.
But when I was younger, I had little RC Mario Karts around the time that Mario Kart Wii came out, and they were just little RC cars, which was so cool. But putting myself in the shoes of my younger self and being able to play on my Switch, knowing how much I loved Face Raiders or loved the AR software built into 3DS, getting to interface the real world in Mario Kart, I think is why this game is going to be so fun for kids.
Sure.
And why, like, that's even novel for me, you know, getting to spend some time setting up really cool, like I could see making really fun video content out of this, you know, creating a fun real life track and then overlaying the Mario Kart elements into it. I think there's really fun applications there, but the application itself, to use the same word in two different manners, I think just does, it's not what we're looking for, is the
Yeah.
bottom line.
And I think that, I mean, that's what this video is supposed to be, right? Like you told me this like 3 times before we started, is what we're excited for. We're taking our pulse on these games. And I'm going to
Sure.
be touting that I'm not excited for this. And I think it defeats its own purpose. And obviously that's just me. I'm not a 7-year-old. If I was a 7-year-old, I'd probably want this, but then my parents would be like, oh, it's too expensive. And I wouldn't get it. But you know, that's who I am now as a 20-year-old college student.
Well, as a 19-year-old college student myself, I am very excited for Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
Good transition. Like it.
Yes. Pikmin 3 Deluxe releasing same month. I wish that it was not launching at the very end of the month because I want it right now. Luckily, though, there is a demo coming out tonight, which I'll definitely hop into. Unless I get too busy playing Donkey Kong Country 2 because that game fucking rocks. But we got some details today, and I'll just run through them very quickly for you. There is a new, harder difficulty mode, which is awesome. Usually, Nintendo
Super duper
has
spicy something.
I think it's called Ultra Spicy. It should be called Super Duper Spicy.
Like
but
that.
Nintendo has had a habit of putting easy modes in their games instead of more difficult modes, you know?
Yeah.
But getting that is, I think, so excellent. I think that's going to add so much value for people and shows me that Nintendo is once again catering to more markets with these ports than just saying, okay, here's Tropical Freeze, we're going to make it easier, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Which holds less value for repeat customers. Beyond that, we've got the side missions where you play as Olimar, and I believe Louis is the other captain for those. And those seem to be pretty fully fleshed. Seem like they're multi-day, which is really cool. We've got gyro controls. We've got, of course, all the DLC bundled in. We have a pretty robust package, and I think one of the most compelling Wii U ports for return owners since probably Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on a sheer content level.
Sure. Yeah.
But then since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on an added expansion to the experience level in terms of content that wasn't anywhere before. Because Hyrule Warriors bundled together that 3DS and Wii U content really elegantly, but if you played that, there wasn't much. But this seems to be, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, looking critically at what was already a phenomenal Wii U game and improving it in key ways. So I am very excited.
Yeah. And this one is something that I'm on the fence about. We've talked about my perspective on Pikmin 3 Deluxe a couple times. I'm not sure if we ever talked about it on video, or I guess we did. Did we do a video and then it fucked up? Was that the one?
No, that's the one that first video to get over 100 views.
That's right. We did. You know what?
Yeah.
Backlog Banter just has too expensive of a history. My brain
know.
can't analyze it all. But I go back and forth on Wii U ports. I bought a bunch of them when the Switch came out, and a couple of them are very good, and I'm glad I got them. But as the years have worn on, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I have lost interest in them. And the idea of getting an expanded version on my Switch doesn't really compel me as much when I can go back and get, and I already own Pikmin 3 on Wii U. I got it for $20 Nintendo Selects at probably a GameStop a couple years ago. But I don't really personally feel the draw for Pikmin 3 Deluxe. It really does seem like one of the more compelling packages, and I will never deny that, especially for Wii U ports. I mean, there's different categories of Wii U ports.
Sure.
You got the Tropical Freeze ones, and then you've got, which are, you know, much more low effort. But then you have Mario Kart Deluxe. I think one that I would include in the top tier would be Pokken Tournament DX. I think game modes, characters, a lot of different customizability and all that kind of stuff, which I thought was cool. But I'm interested in this game, but not for full price. And I think that's where I really come down on it. All this extra stuff does seem cool, but as someone who is not invested in the Pikmin franchise, who doesn't really have experience with it, and who has access to 85+% of the content from Pikmin 3 Deluxe already, or could get access to it for $20, it's a pretty hard sell for me.
I think what's important to remember about this is I think this is the most accessible Pikmin has been, and I think this is the best Pikmin package we've gotten.
Yeah, of course.
I already think Pikmin 3 Deluxe regular Pikmin 3 is the best in the series. And I think this content just makes it scalable in a lot of fun ways. Getting to play co-op is so cool. Getting to play the harder modes, if you're experienced with the franchise, is so cool. Having the Piclopedia back, there's a lot that's really compelling about this. And I think it does make it the ultimate jumping in point, and I think it's a really great place for fans to return to. But there is that value question, and I think you're definitely right to consider that. I think it's also worth considering, are you really going to break out the Wii U to play a more cumbersome version of this game? I think the quality of life, in addition to the new content, maybe
I
if
don't
it
have
hits...
to break out the Wii U. It's right here.
Sorry, my bad. I know you played a fucking hour of Star Fox 64 on it.
Yeah.
Then broke my heart when you put it at the bottom of your top games of 2020 list. But no good. That's a problem to discuss. That's a problem to dive into at a different date.
Sure.
But I just love the Pikmin series, and I really wanted to have another lease on life because it's been dying very slowly. Pikmin has never been given the chance to really succeed that it deserves.
Yeah.
It's always released on bad hardware at bad times. And when it has come to more successful hardware, it's been gimped in some ways. Like Pikmin 2 New Play Control on Wii released fucking only in Europe and Japan, and then in North America, what was it, like 3 or 4 years later as a selects game in 2012. Or Hey Pikmin was Hey Pikmin, you know?
Yeah.
So this is just such a prime moment for what I think is one of Nintendo's most creative franchises to bounce back.
Of course.
And here's what I want to tell you.
Okay. All right. I'm listening.
Even if you don't play 3 Deluxe, I want you to play 3 as I'm playing 3 Deluxe for us to talk about it.
Okay.
Because you're one of those, you're a fan of the bugs. You really like critters in real life.
Real life bugs, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. You like critters and things of that nature. I really think it would tap into an aesthetic and like a science-y aspect that you really enjoy.
Yeah.
And I think in the context of really fun gameplay. Okay. So I really want you to check it out, even if you just play the Wii U version.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I can certainly do that. I don't believe I brought it with me, but I'm having things sent up to me very soon, so I can just have copies slipped into the box and sent it up my way. So
I'm going to get in contact with your brother and tell him not to put it in the box. So you have to buy 3 Deluxe.
Uh-oh.
But I have to say, folks, that is the Nintendo release for the rest of this year that I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Just because I think that's such a lovely franchise, and I'm excited to finally beat Pikmin 3. I've played it on Wii U, but I never finished it.
Yeah.
This is the perfect context to do so, and I'm excited to play on the hard mode and have a challenging Nintendo game. That's so cool. We haven't had one in a good while.
I would like to put out there that I did play Pikmin 3. I probably played half of the game.
I actually didn't know this.
Yeah, no, I bought it and I played a good amount of it. I'm not. How long would you say the campaign is for Pikmin 3?
12 hours.
Okay, so yeah, I probably played 5 hours or so about half. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or whatever, I don't know. A good chunk of it though. But so I do know what Pikmin is. I am familiar with the series, and I think that also might be why I'm not particularly drawn to this. Like, I did enjoy what I played, and I honestly wish I'd played more of it. But because I have played some, and I have access to go back to that very, very readily, spending $60 is the main point for me. If this was a $30-$40 expanded port, it would be a no. It would be a no-brainer. I would get it right away. But I do think that the full price tag is a pretty hard pill for me to swallow.
I think a hard pill for you to swallow because of your context, but I think this is the right price for the game overall. I get the argument that Wii U ports are older pieces of content, but this game I think commands $60 worth of value. In terms of quality, in terms of every benchmark, and then in terms of what they put into it. So I really do think for people who are coming to it fresh, I would be less worried about that price tag.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But honestly, actually, and this is an important point to bring up, and the last thing I want to mention about this, Pikmin 3 Deluxe is the first time I have had a Wii U port that was a game I already owned. I didn't have Mario Kart 8. Didn't have Pokken, didn't have Tropical Freeze, didn't have
Captain Toad.
I did have Captain Toad, but I didn't buy a Treasure Tracker on Switch. But that was more of a it was a pretty direct port. Yeah. But one of the few times that I've personally owned something that was ported to Switch from Wii U, which for a lot of people, and it is the reason why I think I bought a lot of them at launch, because I was interested in playing these games. But as the years have worn on, I've realized, I still have a Wii U. If I really want to play these games, especially the ones that are more direct ports, I can just go back and play them on there for cheaper. So
I have played all of them except for Bayonetta 2 and fucking Tokyo Mirage.
Well,
some play it a different way. Not on Wii U, but then of course of course I've bought every single Wii U port on Switch. But yeah, I'm very excited. I get where you're coming from. And then I want to talk to you about the last game Nintendo has. Before we talk about the rest of the year, the holiday season in a more holistic manner, being Age of Calamity. And I want you to kick this one off.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't know how much more there is to say. We did record a video that did not end up going up about our impressions of
Huh.
the TGS gameplay. I didn't put that one up because I didn't
I
make a
forgot about
thumbnail and I was
that.
lazy. But I'm very excited for this game for a lot of reasons. There's one thing that was sort of a monkey wrench thrown into a monkey machine that you mentioned right before we started recording, is that apparently this game has a full map of Hyrule, and we're not really sure what that means yet. But I do think that that could mean something pretty interesting for this game. And I know I can see the doubt in your eyes. It's leaking out like onions making you cry. But I do think that that is going to be a pretty big selling point and could mean a lot more for this game than we're expecting, especially because they haven't given us that information yet. But this game is coming soon, so we will have information relatively soon.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it too. You're excited for it in a different scale than I am. I'm hyped for the game. I loved Hyrule Warriors on Wii U, but because I played that, I know what to expect here. Um, and on that merit, I enjoyed this formula, and of course I love Breath of the Wild, so I'm excited to be back in that world and play with those characters. But it's just not exactly what I'm feeling right now. Perhaps
Sure.
when we come to launch and I actually get into that loop. But when I watch gameplay, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. And I played Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition on Switch to play the Legends content that I never played, because there's a ton of that game that you don't have access to if you just bought the base game on Wii U and none of the extra content, or not the
Yep.
3DS version.
Mm-hmm.
And going back into that, I found myself thinking, yeah, I remember why I love this, but I also feel like I have gotten my fill on this formula.
Sure, that's reasonable. Yeah.
And I think that the way that this game more closely aligns itself with Breath of the Wild is going to give it a freshness and an importance from a lore and context perspective that is going to reinvigorate my excitement. But
Mhm.
on a pure gameplay level, because I've always been a gameplay first type of guy, knowing what I know, playing and being disappointed by Hyrule Warriors and playing. Sorry,
You were disappointed
sorry,
by it?
sorry. I meant Fire Emblem Warriors.
Oh, gotcha.
That was a misspeaking.
Gotcha.
And playing Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition and saying, you know what, I remember why I love this, but I just think that the 75 hours I played on Wii U were all of the love I want to give.
Hmm.
I'm reserved but excited about this game.
Yeah. And I think that the core difference in our perspective on this is that I have not played a
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors game. I never played any kind of Musou game. And the idea of having that fresh experience that I know people really connect to, and I do want to play Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition at some point, but being able to jump into this in the new context that is more important to the lore of a series that I already enjoy, being the Breath of the Wild series, I guess we can call it, and carrying over that aesthetic and having what seems to be a more integral story. I'm very excited for this game. I also am very proud quote unquote of Nintendo's release post launch reveal and content and rollout of this game. Very close, announced very close to release relatively to almost anything else, and they've been continuously dropping trailers, having gameplay information. Like, this is certainly some of the best pre-release content coverage that we've gotten for almost any game.
I really like that shortened window. I wonder what that shortened window though says about the scope of the overall game, because
Sure.
again, having played Hyrule Warriors, a lot of what gave that game its legs, I'm not seeing in Age of Calamity. Which again, for my taste, having a more truncated and digestible Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity will be really fun for me. But if I find myself back in the gameplay loop and then I don't have the modes like the adventure mode or some of the other side content mode that I had in Hyrule Warriors, I will be just a little bit let down, because part of that game's appeal was how it was just so stuffed with things to do.
Mhm.
And I'm a little bit not concerned, but just curious about what the goal for this game is then, if it's not about just throwing everything at the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued to play it. I'm intrigued what the final package is going to be. But like I said, it's not Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
No, and you know what else isn't Pikmin 3 Deluxe or Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity? That is by far the most interesting thing that Nintendo is doing this fall.
I know what you're talking about.
Steven Smash.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say.
Minecraft content. Oh yeah, baby. We didn't make a discussion about this, and I'm throwing you for a fucking loop.
Sure.
I watched the Sakurai Presents, And I have watched all sorts of people reacting to that and to the reveal of Minecraft content for Smash. It's hard to refer to because it's called Minecraft. Steve and Alex from Minecraft. It's a weird thing. Just say Steve for colloquialism. But holy shit, this is easily the best DLC content we've seen for Smash Ultimate. It is easily the best representation we've ever seen for any series ever in Smash Brothers. The amount of detail work, unique concepts, and execution of all the different aspects of it coming together is on a new fucking level, and it sets a new precedent for DLC for games in general and as well for Smash Brothers, which is a reason that I'm surprised that they've released this as the second character for the Fighters Pass, obviously reinvigorating mainstream interest after Min Min sort of, dumped that. But I think that this would have worked best as a closing for Fighters Pass 2, as the last character ever added to Smash Brothers, because this is the impact, the quality, and the community interest that I think the game really needs, and I'm excited they're putting it out sooner, but I'm just surprised that they're doing it this early because it has the impact, and it should have been the closing thing, in my opinion.
This is me giving you your moment. So all I will say is that I will not be buying Steve. I will not be buying Mr. Steve Minecraft for my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate game. Nor will I be particularly excited about the notion of Nintendo going to Sakurai and saying, hey, can you put in a character that requires you to rework your entire game and then have him feel dangerously out of place with the rest of the content. However, I understand the appeal of him, even though I think it is...
Use your words carefully here, buddy. Why?
I think it's out of place and disappointing.
Oh God, you are so fucking wrong. Holy shit. But you know what? That's the beauty of the content that Nintendo's putting out. There's clearly something for everyone here. I think what you were probably thinking of me referencing was Crown Tundra.
No, fuck.
Okay, what was the other thing then? We already did a Crown Tundra video. Fucking card in the corner.
A video in the corner.
Yeah.
The thing I was talking about was the thing you said that Nintendo has games for everybody. They also have games for nobody this holiday season, including Bakugan, Champions of Destoria.
No, I forgot about that.
Which is launching next month. WayForward put out Shantae this year, which is fucking awesome. So good on them. They also put out some kind of Troll Hunter game, which Nintendo lets you give a 2 out of 10 to. WayForward taking as much contract work as they are makes me a little bit nervous about the health of the studio. Sure. Unfortunately,
yeah. I don't think we need to talk about fucking Bakugan.
No, and to just give Crown Tundra a nod quickly, I am really in the mood for more Pokemon, so I'm excited. I'm like we said in our reveal. I'm unclear about what the Crown Tundra actually is. I think that the Dynamax raids are really cool. I think that the new Battle Tag Team Tower is really cool. But I'm curious about the actual meat of the content itself, not really the evergreen activities it adds past that.
Sure.
But
yeah.
While you pretend that Steve belongs in Minecraft, I'll be playing Crown Tundra. I think they come out a day apart this month. A day apart.
Possibly. Could not care less about Crown Tundra. It's funny, me being one of the biggest Pokemon fans I know. Just do not give a shit about that. It does not seem that interesting. Very underwhelming. That was a bad trailer they showed the other day. Good Lord, I don't care.
Smash Brothers fans I know. I don't give a shit about Steve. So look at that. Actually, I do, but just in a negative direction. I do. Actually keeps me up at night. Just kidding. That's not true. But the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is I want to talk about Nintendo's fall 2020 holistically.
Okay.
Because we're moving into next gen, there's new consoles, new games, all kinds of things popping off. Yes?
I just remembered I have Latin that started 9 minutes ago. Whatever. You know what? Keep talking. Who cares?
Are you sure? Because I can finish that myself if need be.
It's too late. It's too late. I'm just going to... I'll just watch this recorded. It's fine.
Well, Latin's dead, but Nintendo is not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you give me a little derailing there, but that's okay.
Oh, perfect timing. Wow.
You're back.
Nope, but then I won't be. I like giving him a little bit of a face so that he can laugh at. Okay, all right. Finish up your bit.
Right. So we've got all kinds of things happening that are counter-programming Nintendo and the Switch. How are you feeling about how Nintendo is presenting their holiday season? Is it enough to keep you compelled when you've got all of your interests being tugged in different directions?
Um, the easy and quick answer is no. I only
Mhm.
care about one of the, or two of the products, one and a half of the products that are coming out this holiday season, and that kind of expands the rest of the year. Where in which I believe I've only bought Animal Crossing. Did I?
Xenoblade didn't like.
Oh, unfortunately I bought two, but that was a misstep. But yeah, I mean that kind of expands to the rest of the year. I don't think that this year is particularly compelling. This is clearly a better year now that we have this holiday season. I'm never going to
3D All
deny
Stars.
that. Oh yeah, fuck, I also bought that. But I mean, hey, I'm not the kind of guy who complains about release schedules particularly a lot. I have plenty of stuff to do. I've had a lot of time in the last few months to tackle my backlog, and I've been having a fantastic time with that. So having this holiday season be a little bit slower for me, not a big deal at all. And I think that is a testament to the quality of the games that have been released in the past, like 40 years or whatever. But still, I'm excited for one of them, and that's enough for me at the moment.
I'm coming into to a situation where I'd rather allocate my money elsewhere other than a next gen console. I'm going to be building a PC when I go back home, so I'm not going to be investing in next gen.
Mm-hmm.
While I'm disappointed by that, I do take solace in the fact that what Nintendo does have, even though it's not a ton, does compel me. And especially in comparison to where we were earlier in the year.
Yeah, of
You know,
course.
I think this is it's a solid way to end. It's a look back at what Nintendo is and a revitalization of older content. I
Sure.
really think that 3D All Stars and Pikmin 3 Deluxe are emblematic of Nintendo bringing some of their very best games of all time to the Switch and
Mhm.
representing them in a new format that makes them really engaging and approachable. So that's really exciting. And then
Yeah.
having Hyrule Wars on top of that, as long as that hits with me the right way, I think that's gonna be great too. I wish there had been a little bit more, but you know, it's the way the cards fall, and I think that 2021 could be really strong, assuming that Nintendo is holding some things back, which
Yeah.
I imagine they are. So I'm happy with their fall overall, and having, unlike you, bought fucking Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Animal Crossing, Clubhouse Games, Paper Mario Origami King, and fucking 3D All Stars. You know, by the time I then add Pikmin 3 Deluxe and Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity into it, that's a solid year.
Yeah.
And I think the bottom line of Nintendo's 2020 is for how bumpy it was. And we talked about this a lot actually in the last time we discussed Pikmin 3. This is a lot better of a year in the end.
Yeah, of course.
And with yeah,
Yeah.
what did you want to add? Because I was gonna wrap it up.
No, that's all. That's all. I was just gonna say I'm not. Pikmin 3 Deluxe is the one I'm most conflicted on. It's a game I want to play, but I'm gonna wait for price drop. But that's kind of just reiterating what I was saying earlier. Whatever.
Sure.
Let's
If
wrap
you're
it up.
lucky, it might drop by $5 by next summer.
Yeah.
But no. I'm very compelled, and of course, you're going to be getting plenty of content from Backlog Banter about
Of course.
Nintendo's remainder of 2020. Their full games, their expansions, their DLCs, their abominations like Steve Minecraft. It will all be covered here on the channel. Just kidding. I'm actually genuinely happy for you that Steve's coming to Minecraft. Sitting there and watching your vibe check pop off was very, very cool. And I am actually genuinely excited to hear your thoughts, and I would love to record us playing. I'll use my capture card. I get to beat up Steve. You get to show off Steve. I think that's a
sounds like
compelling
a
piece
sounds
of
like a
content.
win-win. All right. Sounds
But
good.
but there we go, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us and listening to us banter about the remainder of Nintendo's
I
2020.
don't know how we haven't said that before.
I don't know, but we
Jesus
just did.
Christ. It took us 3 months to do that. So obvious.
But there we go, guys. Thank you for tuning in. This is a long one, but it was worth it. It's worth every moment. You'll
It was
never get
worth
this
me not
time
going to
back.
Latin today, too.
Now you get to play more Mario's Picross.
True. All
Big
right.
brain.
See you
Big
guys
brain.
later.
Goodbye.
This will be the video where everyone knows this video because my hair's so sexy. I look like Greg Heffley right now. That's what Greg Heffley's fucking little, his little tri-spray that goes out of his fucking scalp. That's what it's like.
Zooey Mama.
Zooey mother.
If you fucking say any of your nonsense this video, I'm giving you the cheese touch. I'm telling you right now.
We were talking about. Hey Tanner. He referenced the pop star from fucking Diamond Would Be Kid yesterday. What's the fucking?
I don't remember.
Hey Tanner. Maybe he's not around. Who knows? Okay.
I want to edit this video also.
Then hit record on Zoom.
No, we're already recording. I don't want to mess up a good thing. I want you to just put this into Google Drive. Sorry, I didn't mean to point.
So what do you mean by what? Why? What do you have to change? Like, what do you want to do differently?
Because I want to make a special overlay for this video.
Oh, that'd be cool. Okay, sounds good. Well, that would have to happen today. I think this is a good. Are we basing this around the Treehouse thing? By the way,
we'll soft shoe it.
Because I want to know if this is something that we should plan to put today.
Oh, it's going up today.
Okay, then never mind. Doesn't matter. You can do whatever you fucking want. Okay, we're shoot. I don't know what soft shoeing means.
I don't either. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, in 3. I'm just waiting for the door.
Did he just leave?
No.
Oh.
Just don't worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna walk us through this one. All right.
Okay. All right. Hold my hand. Lead me through the forest.
Let's sweat on my palms.
Jesus Christ! Why are you sweating so much?
I just sweat a lot. Don't worry about it. Okay, here we go.